Hey, what's going on? AARAVA here, and welcome back to race week number 2 for the F1 fantasy game. Obviously, we kicked this off with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're back for race week 2, and I have had another really tough week. I don't know about you guys, but oh, man, how unlucky can I get twice in a row now? I put Nico Hulkenberg as my turbo driver, as you can clearly see. By this is my team. We'll get to your guys' teams in a sec. But Nico Hulkenberg, who was already there, remember. If you cast your minds back to when I first made this team, I decided to put Hulkenberg in at the last minute instead of Carlos Sainz. And twice now, he has outperformed Hulkenberg, which... It's classic, like, you know, yeah, Hulkenberg's really consistent, so I'll put him in, and then the minute I put him in F1 Fantasy starts, he does terribly twice in a row. I mean, both times, well, Azerbaijan was sort of half his fault by hitting a wall there and having the puncher for the DNF, but, you know, Spain was not, you know, literally just taken out, along with Pierre Gasly, which, as you can clearly see, is the person I replaced for Kevin Magnussen. I had Magnussen in my team for Azerbaijan. And I thought, he didn't do too well there. He was quite aggressive. There's a lot of flack on him right now. So I don't think he's going to do very well. You know, Grosjean's probably due a good race. Finally, it's Spain. So I don't think I'm going to put either of them in. You know what? Gasly, I have a good feeling about him. He had an unlucky race at Azerbaijan. I think he did pretty damn well, all things considered. I think at Spain, he could do pretty well. I mean, Honda and Toro Rosso, I think they're going to go well. And, you know, I was really happy for him because he did well in qualifying. You know, did really well to get, I think it was 12th place or whatever it was on the grid, or, you know, he did a decent job on Saturday. And then Sunday rolls round, and with Hulkenberg taken out by Grosjean. So that's great. So I've got -11 for Gasly and -28 for Hulkenberg. Got Alonso, Ricardo, Vettel. They got some decent points. Red Bull's whole did really well this time around. 50 points. Obviously, Verstappen getting a podium was good. Obviously, the big point scorer probably this week was anyone with the Mercedes guys in their little fantasy team. Hamilton getting 44 points, I think it was. Merck probably got a decent amount. But yeah, I got 80 points. Compared to race week 1, I got 90 points for that, for race week 1. So... you know, going backwards, I really wanted to move forward because I didn't get the best start to race week on compared to some other people. I just went backwards. So, unfortunate for me there with only 80 points. But now, let's check out your guys' how you guys have been doing. If you're new around here, you don't know what this is all based on. Obviously, F1 did an F1 fantasy game, and I've actually made my own league called the AARAVA YouTube League. So, if you're not involved yet, you still can sign up to the F1 fantasy, you know, game. Obviously, you'll be 2 weeks behind, but you can still sign up and you can get joined. There's over 15,000 of you in the league because they've actually updated the website to show you how many people are in the league. So over 15,000 of you, I think roughly 15,800, which is absolutely bonkers. So thank you guys very much for that. It's really awesome to see that many of you getting involved. Let's take a look then at the top 10 and just generally where I place as well. So here we are then on the leaderboard for after race week 2 of the AARAVA YouTube League. You can see I am 10,891st out of 15,800-ish. So I am in the last third of my own league. So, yeah, feels bad, man. Feels bad. So, I didn't do great. I'm on 170 total. If we go all the way down, there's 99 people because you showed the first 100, but there's, I think, 2 people or 3 people that have drawn along the way. So, 99 people. The last guy in the kind of showing standings is Ben Teke with 368. So, I have a long way to go to even break into my own top 100. So... yeah, that's great. But let's go through then the top 10 and see what we got. So we got Whatmate from Singapore with the 405 points. So that is going to be Andres from Singapore. Apologies if I pronounce any of your names wrong. But he's gone for race week 2. This is where we had Vettel, Sainz, Alonso, Perez, Magnussen, and Mercedes. So like I said, Merck was going to be a big one. He had the turbo driver of Carlos Sainz, which is pretty damn good. 42 points for him. Magnussen, see, that's what I missed out on. Instead of getting -11, I could have got 23 for K-Mag. So I would have been okay. I would have had 80 plus 11 onto that, and then plus a further 23 onto that, because obviously the minus number factored in there. So that was unfortunate for me. But yeah, he scored well with Sainz and Magnussen. Alonso and Perez, yeah, but Merck was a big breadwinner for him, for Andres, for his team. In ninth place, we've got Sykes Supreme, 407 points, so 2 points ahead. Jamar, that is, and Hamilton, 44, obviously, and Merck as well, so that's a good combo. Kind of usual suspects, really. Alonso, Sainz, Perez, Magnussen there, so you can see the kind of pattern here. Also, obviously, remember, a lot of these are based off, you can only change one driver or one aspect of your team, basically, per week. So a lot of these guys who are in the top 10 probably had a decent run in Azerbaijan, actually. Obviously, Hamilton and Perez would have been right up there. Alonso, Sainz, K-Mag even, would have been in the mix for the team that was doing well in Azerbaijan as well. But that's the kind of combo there. Gave the turbo driver to Fernando Alonso. So I'm actually curious. So Alonso got 32 as the turbo driver, and Sainz got, as a whole, what did he get as a turbo driver? He got 42, so yeah, pretty equal. 8th place, we got La Pasta, 409 as well, so uber close there. Davide from Italy, so we got Alonso, Leclerc, Vettel, Verstappen, Magnussen, and Mercedes. Actually, Verstappen's a really good shout, because obviously he was low enough in the points after Azerbaijan that you can give him a turbo driver, because I think you can only give the turbo driver to people who are under a certain amount of pricing in the F1 fantasy, when you pick your team. So Verstappen would have been a really good one there in terms of he got the podium, so that's actually brilliant, inspired choice for a turbo driver. So good thinking there from Davide in terms of Verstappen needing to bounce, both Red Bull drivers needing to bounce back, and Verstappen obviously doing the job to get the podium. But Mercedes obviously features, but Leclerc 17 points. Obviously, remember he got into the points once again 2 times in a row, so that was another good choice really. So I had the opportunity to probably choose Leclerc instead of Gasly, but I thought Gasly would have gone well. And I think, in my opinion, if Gasly continued on, he probably would have maybe been able to get points, perhaps, or he would have been in a fight with Leclerc maybe for points. So that's just really unfortunate again for my own demise. But yeah, Davide's done well there to choose Verstappen as turbo. So actually, I think maybe the big winners are probably the people who chose Verstappen as their turbo driver, because obviously you wouldn't have been able to pick Bottas or Hamilton. I'm imagining. I don't think you would have been able to pick Bottas, because I don't think his value went down that much, even though he had the DNF in Azerbaijan. So I think the big winners probably would have been Verstappen, whoever's turboed him really, or maybe the next few down the road. So the next few are all tied. So we got Stallion Racing, and then Abidel Nino tied for 6th place there, and then we have the jump up because the next 3 are also tying there. So 411. I'll be interested to see if their teams are varying, because obviously race week 1, if any of the teams were tied, is basically because they had the same team. But now that we've had at least one more race week, it's not necessarily the same exact team, but it could end up being the same number. So let's see what Stallion Racing has then. We got Rohit from India, Hamilton, Sainz, Alonso, Perez, Hartley, and Mercedes. So Hartley's a big outside one, 9 points there. Obviously, he had a pretty quiet race, but okay, fair enough. 9 points there. So let's remember that. I'll try and remember that. I have a short-term memory of a goldfish. Let's try and see. Hamilton, Sainz, Alonso, Perez, Hartley, and then Merck as a team. So let's quickly look now. So Stallion Racing, Abidel Nino from Mexico. Let's see. Perez, Hamilton, Sainz, Alonso, Magnussen, Ferrari. So that was the difference there. Ferrari is the team rather than Mercedes. You had K-Mag as the turbo driver, no Hartley in there. So the difference there between Magnussen and Ferrari, a bit of a toss-up, but that equals the same point. So fair enough. K-Mag, again, I could have bloody had him as my driver. I could have turboed him as well. So yeah, I definitely got, I don't know, where on earth is my crystal ball? Like, I've clearly lost it. So now, tied for 3rd place. Formula, I'm not too sure about that name. I'm not going to say that name. That's a bit of a weird name. And then we've got MUR007 from South Africa. 2 South Africans in the top 3. So, big up South Africa doing the job here in the fantasy team. So, let's have a look at these different teams and see. So, we got the usual suspects, but difference, we got Hartley again. Merck, though, as the points payer. So, we've got the difference between, so that's the same actually as what Rohit had earlier on. So this will be Caesar from America. This will be the difference of race week 1 potentially. So I'm actually curious, what team did he have for race week 1? Did he not change it? No, I don't think he changed it. No, he didn't actually change his team. Okay, bold strategy there. Bold strategy. Did not change his team, and he ended up with some decent points. But obviously he scored big last time out, 217 points. So that's how he's jumped up the order a little bit more than what was Rohit from 6th place, because he had a better race week 1 clearly. So the next one up, also drawing here, Ollie. We've got Alonso, Hamilton, Magnussen, Perez, Stroll, and Mercedes. So Stroll, was that the one that he's changed? No, he had the same team as well. Okay, fair enough. A lot of people sticking with what they had from race week 1, and he's gone well here. So Stroll got 15 points still. to be fair, Stroll had a very good race, actually. He quietly went under the radar and kind of dragged that car up from what was right down the bottom to at least being just a couple of places outside the top 10. So, fair enough. But sticking with the same team there, and then the turbo driver was Sergio Perez, who got points. So he did well as well. So the turbo driver choice for him was good in that aspect as well. And then the final guy who got third place here, MUR007, Maurizio from South Africa. We've got Hamilton, Alonso, Perez, Hartley again, and Sainz. So that seems to be the pattern, really. These guys maybe scoring some decent points. And again, he's not really changed it from race week 1. So a lot of you guys are not opting to actually change much. You kind of just gone with, okay, race week 1 was good. Let's just stick with what we had. So let's look now. So we've got the number 2 slot, Lewis's squad, 424. So a bit of a jump up there. So he's got Leclerc instead of Hartley, Merck, Perez, Sainz, Alonso, Hamilton, usual suspects. But obviously, crucially, 202 points this week. Last week, in race week 1, he got 222 points. Again, for the same team, not deciding to change anything. So, okay. Fair enough. A lot of you guys in the top kind of bracket seem to be like, okay, no, I chose well last time out. Let's just stick with the same thing for race week 2. So, fair enough. So, Leclerc this time around got 17 rather than 26, but it was still good enough. And Alonso both times was Mark's from South. His name's Lewis's squad, but obviously clearly a Hamilton fan. But Mark from South Africa has decided to go with Alonso both times with the turbo driver. So I don't know. I don't know if that's maybe you guys tactically going, I chose the right thing last time, so let's stick with it. Or maybe some of you guys forgot about it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you're featured in this top 10 and you did actively just decide to go with the same team, or maybe you forgot about it. And then finally, number 1, Jay Bear from Germany, 442 points. Magnussen, Sainz, Alonso, Perez, Hamilton, Merck. Surprise, surprise, is he going to have the same team? Yes, he is. So far, to my surprise, the F1 Fantasy, the same team has done well 2 times in a row, which is surprising for me, because you would think that maybe one little change would have done a madness, really. But no, I think a lot of the usual suspects from Azerbaijan did well at Spain. So fair play for Bobby from Germany to get number 1 spot, 232 points last week, and then 210 this week. So that's a small little rundown of my fantasy league and the kind of top 10, how I did there. Obviously, I'm going to change things up probably for next time around the Monaco Grand Prix. Probably going to look to be swapping out Hülkenberg and Gasly. I think I'm confident in keeping Red Bull, Ricciardo and Vettel, because the Ferraris I think will go well. Red Bull should go a little bit better maybe than they did at Spain, perhaps. But I think for sure, I think it's time to maybe call it quits on Hülkenberg and Gasly and try something a little bit new. But obviously I can only pick one, so I honestly might swap out Hülkenberg. I think Gasly might be able to bounce back for something well at Monaco. Obviously, Monaco, Honda power unit won't play much of a factor, so maybe Gasly could go well. So I personally might be looking at swapping out Hülkenberg for someone. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what you kind of had in terms of, was there any one of your drivers that you're seriously thinking about swapping out? But yeah, short little rundown. Don't want to drag out the video too long about the Fantasy Week, Race Week 2. But finally, guys, if you are not signed up, obviously over 15,000 of you, but if you want to get involved, there's still time. You can sign up at any time. So AARAVA YouTube League, that's the league you have to search. I think we're the biggest league actually from the public leagues that are created on the website. So that's absolutely awesome. So thank you guys for making that happen. So it's pretty easy to actually find my league and join it. Yeah, so get involved and you might be able to eventually be in the top 10 if you do well enough, if you sign up a little bit late. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the rundown, then hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below about how your race week went. If you're new around here, do get subscribed for weekly full-on content. We have the podcast to review the Spanish Grand Prix and talk about some other aspects of F1 in the news and whatnot coming out later today. So get subscribed for that and that will come out. So patience if any of you guys are wondering about that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And I guess I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for the podcast video. So yeah, till then, goodbye.